All right, welcome everyone to NFT Guild Roundtable number 2. We have a bunch of special people in here and about to, have a cool presentation from Sent about future and some vision. I'm going to kick this off with introductions. I want to have maybe like 10-15 second introduction from everyone in the call, so let's make it snappy. I'll kick it off. My name is Peter Wolcott. I am a freelance project manager and community organizer for different groups in and around Project Catalyst from Cardano grant funding mechanism. Anyway, let's pass it off to Patrick. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I make NFT Maker. We are going to announce a rebranding on Monday to NMaker, so spoiler alert. And that's it.
Awesome. And after you do your introduction, pick someone else.
Okay, I'll just pick Valerie.
Hey everyone, my name is Valerie. I'm from Forge, formerly Bondly. I'm a product manager there, and so we're building NFT Breach from Ethereum to Cardano at the moment. So yeah, really curious to be here, and yeah, nice to meet you all.
Yeah.
And I'm picking team.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tim. I'm the co-founder from IMX, decentralized identity solution, and I'm the co-founder of the Chadi Troops. And I like to pick Dennis, my teammate.
Yeah, I knew it. Okay, my name is Dennis Mittmann. I'm the CTO of IMX, and I'm a specialist for high traffic and high availability systems. And back in the day, I mined Bitcoin. I switched to Ethereum. Now I'm on Cardano, and there's no technical solution I don't know. So I'm a long time around here. And I pick Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm the co-founder of CNFT.io, Cardano's NFT marketplace, or one of them. Nice to meet you all.
Sweet. Yeah, who are you picking, Ryan?
Sorry, I'll pick Adam.
Hey, I'm Adam. I do a couple of things. Buffybot and drip drops and on-chain governance and basically trolling on Twitter. So that's me. Chadi.
Hi, this is Chadi. I am an NFT artist and also co-founder of Plutus.art, the new marketplace coming into the Cardano space. You can find us on idea scale for Catalyst at the moment. We just put something in there, and if you want to know more information, you can contact me or Nick. And I choose Nick.
What's up, guys? I'm Nick, Fettuccini online. I'm here with Chadi, and then I'm also the creator of Angel Baby Hit Squad. It's the first ETH NFT with Cardano utility. And then I pick Mateo.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, everyone. This is Mateo from the Artano Core team. I'm a member of the Metaverse Fashion Council as well, and NFT Factory Paris. And also Catalyst winner for last round for INFT Minter. And I pick, what was left? Pierre, you wanna go?
Hey everyone, sorry for being late. I'm Pierre Caclamanos. I'm a partnerships manager at the Cardano Foundation, focused on community projects and open source projects as well, among other things. So nice meeting you. Those well, I don't know, a pleasure to be here.
Sweet. Thanks, Pierre. All right, Stenton, Anna Marie, and Rars, your last introductions. And one of you can kick it off after that.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Sent, I'm a stake pool operator and developer. Part of the NFT Guild, one of the founders of the NFT Guild. Anna Marie and Raris.
Hi, everyone. We're Anna Maria and Raresh, also called New Mindflow. we're filmmakers and NFT project creators.
Yeah, and we've been advising this group since January and involved in the general Cardano NFT space since March of last year, late February, March of last year. Nice meeting you all.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. Yeah, awesome to meet everyone. That's cool to hear everyone comes from. Yeah, we have a presentation from Sent. I'm sure he wants to jump at that.
Sure. Just so that we get everybody on board on what we're trying to achieve here. I'm very happy to have you all here. Can you see my screen?
Good.
Great, thanks. Yes, we are the NFT Guild, and we have been around for some time now, since it's not too long, but we have been here since in November last year. And we have had some discussions regarding how we can make the ecosystem of NFTs better, bring the different parties of the NFT ecosystem together and to discuss solutions to similar problems or to something that we feel we have in common. We posted some proposals for Catalyst in Fund 7, but was not successfully funded in that round. But we have now received some funds for a couple of projects now in Fund 8. And those are a standard for verification of NFTs, which we're going to talk about today. And also an implementation project for this, where we look at creating a tool for this. And the reason for bringing all of you guys into this is, of course, to ask you to be part of this in some way and support us and participate in establishing a standard for verification of NFTs. In the beginning of this, we have discussed some different alternatives for how to achieve this. This is about, it's of course a very crude image of how it is today. We have a lot of NFTs and we have some workflows in the different marketplaces that show the different NFTs as real and something that you can trust. And each of the different marketplaces need to do their approval and verification of the different artists. And this is what we are trying to, or we want to see if we can do better, meaning that we can get everybody to figure out one way of approving different artists. This is an example of how it can be done. It has already been done by the Cardano Foundation together with a wine supplier and ScanTrust. They have used the metadata of the NFT or a metadata message on the net or on the blockchain. And in that metadata, they have linked to a data, a JSON file on a server, and they have provided a signature and a public key for their solution. And in that way, we have been able to verify that this wine has indeed been fermented at that particular place. It hasn't been changed since it was published to the blockchain. But we see that this is not something that we want to build on for the future. And that is basically because the servers can go down, and it has actually occurred already. The files that we are going to verify, they are not available. And in that way, we cannot do a proper verification of that particular metadata anymore. So we hope to do better. And what is always available? It's of course Cardano. The Cardano blockchain is always available. So why not put the data on the blockchain instead? And there are different ways of doing this, of course. It can be part of the NFT metadata itself. It doesn't need to be data on its own. But if we continue on the path that the Cardano Foundation and Scantrust already did, this will say that we have the same data available on the blockchain. So it's always available to us. In that way, we can say that this data has been signed by a public key, and in that way, it's not possible to for other scammers to post NFTs and scam us with a fake signature anymore, because we know what the public key is supposed to be, and the signature can only be produced by the public key holder. So this is one of the solutions that we have talked about. Another possibility is to introduce a similar functionality as the IMX guys have, namely the DID and identity. And in this slide, it is of course not it's not worked thoroughly, but it needs to be figure out what we can do, where to put the credential. Do we put it inside of the NFT? Do we put it on the artist? Where do we have the credential? That is topics to discuss in this. In this slide, we have also mentioned that Prism, the Atala Prism, is a solution in Cardano, and that is a possibility as well to make use of. Sorry, Peter, something?
Oh, no, I was waving at Blake Lock that he just came in and waved, so I was waving back.
Okay, great.
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem, and feel free everybody to interrupt while I'm talking, but I'm almost done, and then we can go over to the discussion. So this is of course some different scenarios that we have talked about this far, and of course this all it results in us making changes to something, and we already have a lot of NFTs on the chain. So we want to also have some focus on how to achieve backward compatibility. So this is just a thought, of course, something that we can talk about some more, but instead of extending the NFT metadata itself, instead have a separate data which is instead pointing back. So we are now instead posting data to the blockchain, which is the proof for the NFT. So a project can prove that they have the public key that was used when minting, and a signature that can only be produced by that particular public key. And that information is posted to the blockchain as a signature for the NFT, if you get what I'm trying to describe. So that was actually all of the presentation that I had.
Yeah, maybe I can jump in. I mean, we spoke about this last time already, and I think it's a very good idea. And then I mentioned that I think IMX is doing something very similarly, and that might make sense to bring them into the conversation to figure out like how to align and make sure that everyone kind of follows the same standard, because I think identity like this connected with NFTs is great. And we, as I mentioned, we made the Teddy troops back in the day with IMX, which were the first NFTs connected to it on Cardano. And then, yeah, and at the moment, IMX is working on a CIP together with us. And we actually had a call with the Atala Prism team sometime, was it this week? I don't know. Time is very weird at the moment, probably this week. And it's like everyone is kind of working on this separately, like Atala Prism is working on it, you are working on it, IMX is working on it, and it probably makes sense to just combine everything, in my opinion. So Dennis or Tim, if you're there, maybe you can say a few things about that.
Yes, I can. But first thing I wanted to say is that what Atala Prism is doing is they just provide a framework to handle bits. And what's more important is what you put inside this container. And with IMX, we have a different standard than what Atala Prism is going to do. But for the NFT identity, we join forces, and we will use the same approach that Atala Prism uses. And we try to, in the end, do the same thing and achieve in the same manner the same target. And we are also looking for a solution that is backwards compatible, that we can get identities for closed policy IDs out. So, and the main thing that needs to be understood is that an identity is a living thing. It needs to be updated. It needs to be updatable. Therefore, we have in our ZIP proposal that the identity itself will sit in an open new policy ID. And whatever you have as an artist or as a project on policy IDs, you can then have in the metadata of the NFTs just a link to an asset ID where the identity is sitting. So the first thing is you're going to mint an identity, and then you have an asset ID, and then every NFT can point to this or relay on this. So therefore, yeah, the same approach that we have seen here. We don't want to put the identity in each NFT again and again and waste the space on the blockchain. We want to put it there once and use it for each NFT, basically. Yeah, and this SIP proposal will come out, I think, next week. or I don't know, it's in the final discussion now. And I'm happy to invite you to the discussions there. And I don't know how the process would be, but we are in talks with Atala Prism and IOG, and we try to make an open standard that is followed by everybody.
Yeah,
And
that
it's
would
very
be-
similar.
yeah.
The only thing is we are using DITs instead of just a loose JSON format.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to be part of. So would welcome that. Yes.
Sorry,
I will try to invite you to this.
I joined kind of late here, but I have a few questions, if that's okay. I'm curious how what the criteria for verification is. Like, is this self sign up, or is there some entity that is doing the verification?
In the IMX solution, it is the IMX solution is basically you start with self sign up. So you have a web page and you connect your Twitter account, your Discord server. There's a bot that is joining your server and verifies it. So basically it's a suit yourself service where you connect all your social media accounts and prove that you have access over these accounts and over the Discord channel. You put like a small meta hash on your web page in order to prove that you have access over the page, or you put it in the DNS record or whatever. And on top of that, we offer a KYC process or KYB process where we can check persons or individuals on top of that. That's optional, and you can add this to this identity if you, as a project, feel the need of doing it. Let's say you are a big Fortune 500 company, then you would do a full KYB on top of that. But if you're just an individual that is putting out the first NFTs, you just connect your Discord server, your Twitter account, and you're ready to go.
Okay, so one question I have on that is, let's say I'm a Twitter account with 5,000 followers, but I've stolen the art from another project on Ethereum or Solana or even on Cardano. Would I still get verified in that case?
Yeah, the only thing that you verify is that you have control over this Twitter account you state it's yours. But that the art is yours cannot be checked by a process like that. We had talks with companies that tried to accomplish this using AI and scanning all existing NFT projects on all blockchains and then find the spoofers. But that's something like a second layer that we can add on later, because the AI to do that is not ready yet. And there's so many things coming out that it's not a topic for today, I think. But yeah, it's good to address it.
Got it.
So also, sorry if I interrupt, the costs of this solution, the solution with the AI was, in my eyes, really nice, really good, but how to feed AI, it's very important. And the costs, what they talked about, we had deep talks and told us that the solution is 10,000 euros a month. So for a small project, this is a little bit too high. For bigger marketplaces, I think this is it's okay, but for small individuals, I think it's much too high, and we like to cut down the cost so it's usable for everybody.
And that's kind of the idea of DITs, right? The idea is to give away the control of verifying to the users themselves. Like, we don't want to have every marketplace have a system to basically in a centralized way have to verify all the projects. That doesn't make a lot of sense long term. It's not scalable, in my opinion. I mean, it works now, but what if we have not 5 million tokens, but we have 500 million or 5 billion or so? So the idea is that we basically give the users the tools to see, okay, this NFT collection is connected to this Twitter account, this Facebook account, this Instagram account, and then you can say, okay, this is Paris Hilton's Twitter account and it wasn't hacked, and that's also your Instagram account. It also wasn't hacked, in my opinion. And you can say, okay, I trust this account and I trust this NFT collection. And the more data points you add to the NFT collections, like KYC and so on, the safer it gets in a way. So yeah, I think it's a very good solution, especially also against spoofing. If you have things like KYC connected to that, and you kind of say, okay, this is my wallet and it's KYC to this person, and you kind of dox yourself in that way, then you can't really do anything super bad, because you will just ruin your reputation long term. So I think
yeah, and one thing, it is completely decentralized. So even if we as IMX are offering a web page that is checking all these social media accounts and is offering the KYC, you can get it as a white label solution, put it on your servers, generate your own key pair, and then you are signing the onboarding people. The only thing, even the KYC process would be exchangeable, so that there's different providers that you can choose from where you can do your KYC process, and there's different onboarding pages that check your social media accounts. So in the end, it's decentralized because you can just pull it from our GitHub and install it at just your page.
Sweet. I want to get Adam's hand, since he's had it up for a while. Adam.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. This seems to have the same problem that all DIDs do, and it's the chicken and the egg scenario, right? Like, what do you actually trust when we're talking about linking up policies? Like, I can make a Discord that looks like Blake's. I can make a Twitter that looks like Patrick's. So just having something in a metadata, wherever it is, that points to a Twitter that looks like it came from Patrick, you know, unless I actually know, oh, it's Patrick Tobler, not Tobler with a 0, is his Twitter, you're still right back into social engineering, phishing, and all the other problems that we see already happening. You know, my Discord has been impersonated for an escrow scam before, and unfortunately I had to tell people, sorry, better luck next time. But while we're exploring down this path, I would recommend that we don't throw out, what is it, CIP 27, the royalty standard, as a place where we can put entire policy level information. Something that I've wanted to explore for a while as a thought process is all of your constantly repeated information about a project, like the name of the artist and the website and the Twitter and everything else, could live at a top policy level rather than replicated on every single token that then gets minted out on chain. And that still ultimately applies the ultimate cryptographic proof, which is I'm in control of this policy before any tokens ever get made, which is at the end of the day, the only thing that we can really trust on the chain.
Yeah, and it's not a one size fits all solution. There will still be verification processes by the marketplaces, in my opinion, because the marketplaces have interest in making it as easy as possible for their users. But the whole idea of crypto is giving it into the hands of the users. So it makes sense to have like the option to self-verify the collection, like as one of the options, basically. I could see something like just a link to all the social media accounts on JPEG Store, for example. And if you click on it, you know 100%, okay, this social media account is not just linked there, but it's actually proven to be linked. And that's really cool, because then people can come to the social media account and say, okay, this is, you know, I don't care if it has a check mark on JPEG Store, but the check mark helps, but I can also verify it myself if they are smart enough. Okay.
Our solution was that you can hover over, you know, we did it now with OpenSea. We talk, you hover over a project, and then it comes a big card, you know, with Twitter follow like this, you know, you have all these what we checked, it's there, and if it's the IBAN code, he doesn't like to give the IBAN, so there's not a check mark. So it's a lot of things that a lot of possible way you can check, like Instagram and all these accounts, including also SMS, like telephone number, and the telephone number usually is linked to, that's my background, telecommunication, that you have a KYC. Without a KYC, you don't get a mobile phone, or it's very, very difficult to get a working mobile phone, especially here in Germany and Europe. And so if you like to make a very hard verification, like and I am on the side of Blake there, or I understand what Blake is like doing. He likes to have no scams on his platform. And this you can do if you say JPEG Store just accepts project with this filled up pieces. So if you like to have an SMS check with the guy, if it's the right one or not, and you like to have an IBAN, so the people who like to scam, they have to give a lot of personal data out. And I think they will never ever do this. They will, it's your personal, you get your ID, you can check from, if it's really a fraud, you go to the telecommunication company, you find out who this guy is. So at least if there's a scam, we can make heuristic steps, which is not, I don't like lawyers, it's not my business, but it prevents people from making a real fraud, because it will come back 100%. Because if there's fraud, the telephone company has to tell you, yes, this is the guy, belongs to this number. So I think it's not made out of marmor, of stone, our solution, but it is the best step we can do today.
I want to jump in here. I really like this point that Patrick had earlier, where it's not enough to just have a Twitter account, because I can go and create another Twitter account, buy a bunch of fake followers and make it seem like I'm somehow legitimate. But it's more this idea of the more data points we have on someone, the more we can trust that individual. And so, for example, if there's a KYC provider who has verified that this user has doxed themselves, provided their driver's license and identity, like you were saying, Tim, I think that gives a much higher level of trust to that user. And on the topic of AI, I think Gio has his hand raised. Gio, if you maybe want to talk about that point, I know he's been working on detecting stolen art across Cardano and other blockchains.
What's up, everyone? Sorry if I'm not showing myself as I'm traveling at the moment. So I hope you hear me well as well. So I heard Tim mentioning about the costs of a collection getting verified and mentioning 10 grand. I'm working on something similar, and definitely 10 grand is not the cost that we're making creators to pay in order to get their collection verified. But for creators is actually much cheaper. If you want to know more about this, ping me outside of this and we can have a chat. In terms of AI, I heard also what Patrick said is the dimension and the sheer volume of the data that needs to be indexed from an AI point of view is really huge. But in the only 6 months that I've been working on this thing, there are lots of tricks that can be used in order to get the algorithm to be effective and use just a portion of the data and save a lot. But anyway, the big picture is that in isolation, neither the AI, neither the deeds, I think they can fully fight and the scams, plagiarism, so on and so forth. What I genuinely believe, and we are doing a lot of research in this field, is to combine the two technologies together, because together I really believe that there is a highly likelihood of potentially scoop up, I want to say 85–90% of the plagiarism on, if no more, on any blockchain. Costs, we are learning. We are learning how much cost is run an infrastructure as potentially big as this one, that is indexing arts, and not only arts, but can be music, can be anything from any blockchain. So it's really hard to make a forecast. But at the speed of growth we're going, I think is still reasonable for any blockchain, no, for any marketplace to integrate with this. And yeah, so that's my 2 cents. I really appreciate what the IMX guys are doing. We had a couple of chats in the past, and that helped us to understand much better what bids are, because that's was not our fields of expertise, but we're trying to learn as fast as possible, because working with a technology like that definitely, as I was mentioning earlier on, contribute in integrating the AI that I'm building to be even more efficient.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, so I'll jump back in here. Tim, really appreciated your kind of like exposition or expounding on that idea, because getting back to the verification, I like being able to show the user as much data as possible, right? And letting them make an informed decision at the end of the day, you know. So, you know, here's a Twitter, here's a phone number, here's, you know, their driver's license, or whatever kind of crazy levels we get to where, you know, because it's too much for, you know, Blake will spend the rest of his life in compliance hell if he has to personally verify every single project. So yeah, like being able to prove, hey, this is the Twitter of this project, go and check it out, and you decide, you know, if you want to trust it. Here's their Discord, here's their website, whatever. So I like that, and I think that does have a lot of merit there. One thing I was thinking, so is it possible, I think you guys already touched on this, I register like a new policy that has my creator token that has all those DIDs, and then I somehow sign maybe even like with the original policy keys for like a legacy project like SpaceBuds. And then that gets attached into my creator profile. So that way we can retroactively apply these things. Essentially, because those, you can't sign with the same policy that's time locked, but you can sign with the same set of keys that were originally on part of that time locked policy.
That's exactly what we're doing if we try to verify closed policy ID afterwards. So basically, it's exactly what you laid out. We use the old. You can use the old key to just generate a signature, and you attach it to your newly created identity. So there's an array of policy IDs where this identity is valid for. So this can include closed and old policy IDs, and then you just sign the complete message with the key from the new policy ID, and you have an array of signatures for each policy ID that it's valid for.
I have a question, Adam. I think, you know, in Blake, you say, okay, Blake has too much to check. I think he has to check nothing anymore. If he trusts Vodafone, you know, where a mobile phone contract comes from, you know, he can choose. I trust Vodafone, I trust Telefonica, I trust AT&T, I trust these verifiers, we call them in SSI. And so usually he can just check the timestamp or the verifier, who it is, makes a list and can check and say, okay, if someone is coming from Vodafone, I accept. If he shows his phone number, his driving license, and his ID, perhaps, you know. And I think as a user, I will never do it. I will not give my personal data out, because that's my business is decentralize your ID and give it back to yourself, you know, not just the big corps. But for a project, you know, I think they should be naked. Yeah, they should show everything what they have, because they like to have my collector's money. And they like to make business through the platform of Blake. So I think a project, you know, has to do everything what we as a collectors or platform likes to have. And if this is done in an automatic way, what we are working on, then I think it's just it's very easy. So the people who are verifying now the project, they can do other stuff, you know. Don't kill them, but I think you have other jobs for them, hopefully. small joke in my German language, but I think it's very important that the projects, you know, they should not be secured or being in a golden cage. You know, a project likes to earn money, and so they can show everything. And it's a project for, well, I've been from Teddy Troops, you know, for sure, everybody of the team, you know, and you can also say as a platform, I like to have 2 members of the team completely doxed and not just 1. And I think this is a practical way to protect collectors and the platforms from having scams in our community. And another thing, what I like to say when we talk about SIPs, and this is where we met Patrick's philosophy, it's always cross-chain. So our solution, what we like to build, should and must and is very important to be blockchain and completely decentralized. And the last chat with Dennis and Patrick and with other SSI expert, they came up with 2 solutions. One was there was a centralized model inside, and the other one was not cross-chain possible. So we always just also for, I think it's also important for every one of us creators or platforms that we have a standard with it, which is multi-chain. You know, if we like to grow and make Cardano the biggest blockchain ever, I think we are here to do that. Then we have to think always cross-chain and multi-chain.
Oh yeah, and just to jump in there, I completely agree with you, Tim. I was saying if we keep going down the road we're going, Blake's going to be locked in bureaucratic hell of monitoring every project that ever comes out, whereas this DID solution seems to take that off of his plate because he can trust, you know, hey, if you've got a Twitter and a Discord and these other 5 data points, then, you know, you get an extra golden check mark or whatever, you know, and it doesn't require human intervention necessarily. And what I like, thanks Dennis for pointing out that this is kind of like a personal policy that you have, because then we could, like at the either at the top level or the individual, because I know Matea is going to say, well, we like to put a bunch of different artists under the same policy. And how do we do this individually for each token? Each token could actually just reference to my creator policy and say, here's a person that's attached to this token or to this entire policy, right? So we can do that at either level without a lot of code bloat, because we're really just pointing to like your personal creator policy that contains your DID information. So it's, you know, and so if we standardize there, you know, like creator DIDs is an array of pointers to policy IDs that we can then go and check and see what data points they have. We can put that at a top level, like the royalty token, or we can put it at an individual NFT token if individual NFTs have different DIDs associated with them. So I'm liking what I'm hearing, and I think there's a lot of promise there.
Chad, you got your hand up, or Chadi? Sorry.
No worries. So someone like me, I'm talking more on the artist side, less on the co-founder of a marketplace side. But someone like me as an artist, I have around 15 or 16 policy IDs. And to me, each one is a fingerprint of a collection. Then how do I mitigate that with what you guys are discussing by putting in this? I agree that there should be some sort of KYC. When we first started making NFTs on Cardano, I was one of the few that was completely doxed from the start. My face was on my Twitter. I wasn't hiding anything, but that's not how, we all know that's not how blockchain and crypto works. We are going towards that, I feel, as a culture of crypto, but then how do we keep it decentralized to the point where, because what I'm hearing now is, as a project leader or as an individual artist, I still have to go to some sort of centralized entity and get some sort of KYC before I come back and I am trusted. And this is pretty much against the ethos of crypto.
Chadi, you always have to do that. so sorry to be jumping in, but you always have the entry point at some point. They're always like, if you buy crypto, you have to go to a centralized place to buy it. If you want to verify yourself, you have to go to a centralized place to verify yourself. If you want to,
yes and no, but this is the point, right? Like the whole point of crypto is not to have to do that. I'm not saying I don't want to do it. Again, I was one of the first people to be completely doxxed. So for me personally, it doesn't really matter. My only problem as an artist is how do I get all my policy IDs together so anyone that wants to buy a Chadi can go and see all of those and know that those are verified. Someone like CNFT and JPEG and us can go and know, okay, this is real, this is the proper policy ID, give it the tick, whatever.
I think this solution is actually making that easier, because if you set up your personal DID, right, that signed with your Twitter, and then you go and get all of your policy IDs and you sign them, so there's signatures of those policy keys in your DID, then when Blake looks at the Chadi DID, he can go, Chadi's associated with all of these projects, and he could easily build a page that goes, hey, you want to show art by Chadi? Here's everything that's signed by his ID, right? So it actually takes away that step of, well, now I have to go and send Blake a DM and be like, hey, can you add that in to this other thing and maybe customize your solution? He doesn't have to do that. And the beauty is it's all opt-in, right? You don't ever have to do anything. And Blake can show every single project that anybody wants to throw into his smart contract, but with varying levels of like, this is 25% trusted, this is 100% trusted, this is 0% trusted because we have zero information about the creator. So really it allows you to opt in as a project creator, and it allows the marketplaces to determine, you know, what level of trust they give. And then ultimately at the end of the day, that's giving that trust to the consumers. Consumers can still go and buy an unverified, no DID project if they want, or the consumers can place the expectations on what am I willing to buy based on what those creators are willing to share with me. So really it is the ultimate free market, because nobody is, you know, saying, well, I got to go buy a Vodafone now, right? I'm US based. That's not going to work out too well for me. But you can do that thing. You know, maybe it's Verizon on this side or something else. But yeah, so it's opt-in and giving you that freedom to engage to the level that you're comfortable with. And I think that's the kind of the simplistic elegance that we're hearing described here.
And how far are we for a solution like that one that can be used both by the project side and the marketplace side?
Not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Teddy Troops guys already kind of, and IMX kind of paved that road a little bit. So we just need to really settle on a SIP format. So that way we're not all, you know, it's not like the early days where we were all doing whatever the hell we felt like with NFTs and creating a bunch of headaches and problems. You know, if we get the SIP first, then we can all just follow it. And it sounds like this also has that backwards compatibility layer, to where we can just retroactively apply things. Hopefully people didn't lose or throw out their policy keys, but you never know.
Sweet. Matea, let's get to your hand.
Thanks. Just quickly, so I think Chadi is raising a really important point, and that is, I think a lot of SIPs are created without input from the user. So if we want projects and artists to use this, we should definitely get some feedback. And I think it's really important to think how this is going to be managed in terms of who decides, like what's the point of entry for all marketplaces. That's the first one. And then like, is it, you know, it's kind of centralizing it but also decentralizing, because every marketplace can have their own criteria. So I'm not sure what the point is, you know, like maybe I'm missing it, but and also, yeah, for the user side, like I think it's really important to involve artists and do interviews and you know, talk to people how they want to, what they want to provide, how they want to provide it, because why would we build some connector to a bank account if nobody's going to use it, you know, or something like that.
Also, just quickly jumping in and adding to what Matea said and what Adam just said, as an artist, I didn't mint my own stuff. I didn't have my own minting service. I didn't always go through someone like Patrick's NFT Maker Pro, where you have the keys always on the side. So where do I go and find those keys retroactively? A lot of people have lost the keys. So, and this is a good question that Blake said, is the DID attached to the project or an artist? Also, as an artist, I have a lot of, I was very prolific this time last year, creating all those collaborations. So who owns that? Who owns the DID for that collection? Is it me or my collab? Can two people sign retroactively, or can two people use their own DID to sign something that's coming up in the future, or more? For example, you see, like, those are all questions that as artists we need to understand. And this is like, just to veer off topic very quickly, but this is the problem I'm having with CIP 52. I think that it has to be written for people like any CIP we write has to be written for coders, of course, but we need some sort of layman's terms for people that are not devs, for people that are not coders, to understand and know what we need to expect. So if I need to get my marketplace audited, and I'm sure Blake probably and everyone who is getting their marketplaces audited, right now the only thing we have is the CIP 52. But I'm not a coder, I'm not a dev. I wouldn't understand it 100% unless I had Stale or Patrick come and explain it to me. So the same thing for me as an artist. When I read the new CIP you guys are writing, or if you want to expand on 25 or 27, I heard, I need to understand what I need to expect from my minter, from this minting service, to make sure I have all of those, so that I'm not stuck in the future and I go, okay, what do I do now?
Adam,
Yeah, and so we were talking about it in the chat a little bit there, but I kind of touched on it, that we could include an array of DIDs at either a policy or a token level, which would allow multiple artists or project creators, like Fettuccini being a promoter, he could sign his DID to say, yes, I'm officially part of that project, because right now I could go put up a website and claim that Stale, Patrick, and Blake are all team members on my project. And if you're just looking at my website, you have no way of knowing. But if we had this DID that was signed and attached to the policy, you could see, yep, look, that's Patrick, his signature's there. So we can easily expand it to multiple people. And I think Patrick touched on it higher up in the chat. But in this case, what we're really describing is a framework for tools like BuffyBot or NFT Maker, and marketplaces like Artano and JPEG and others to reference a shared data standard. But this certainly is going to be something where you need somebody to create the tooling for the artists, right? I don't think any of us are going to be expecting the average rank and file artist to figure out how to go and create all these cryptographic proofs. So it definitely is going to need to be as easy as possible to reduce that friction to really get acceptance. But yeah, I think it has a lot of potential if we start somewhere. So I'm happy to jump into the SIP and provide feedback and help with that combo.
Yeah, so the SIP is, it's like the way we designed it, because I had a lot of doubts as well, and I came to Dennis and basically said, okay, this isn't working, and then he explained to me why they're doing things in a certain way, and we kind of figured out the best way how to make it flexible, in at least from my limited DID experience. And I think it's extremely flexible. You can have, of course, you can have multiple social channels. You can have DIDs specific per person and per project, which I think is very important as well. And I think it isn't, like, I'm not sure, but I think it's no problem to add multiple different DIDs to the same project. But Dennis, you might correct me if I'm, yeah, okay. So we designed it in a very flexible way. I think the next step to get this rolling, because we kind of all agree that DIDs make sense and we have multiple proposals, is just to release it and then have everyone look over it, and then next time maybe Dennis or Tim or both can present it in a very clear way. And we actually have a tool built, I think that's also ready to also create this DID. So we have like a small like NFT Maker website, and you create the DID, and then you just have to put in that information into the NFT essentially, and that's it. So yeah.
Blake, you know it. I think we showed to you in our call. We showed you the mock-up from NFT Maker, so it's nearly ready.
I'm not sure.
But I think it was not you were. I think it was not your time. 4 weeks ago, I think you had a lot of work, so we jumped in a very short call. Perhaps you didn't know, but we can show it to all of here again when it's completely ready. And yeah, I'm not the one who can answer the deep tech questions. It's Dennis. You know, I'm just a boring marketing guy. But you know, sometimes this is also needed.
What CIP are we working on for this? Is there one already?
It's not out yet. It's not out. We are waiting to, like, basically I want to have more examples, like real life examples, and also a few just infographics so that people get it, because it is quite complex. Like it took me a long time to wrap my head around it, and I still haven't quite figured it out. So we're
waiting.
So
that is really ready. We wait for two or one group or party. I can't tell you who it is. We like to get the feedback from them. You all know them, and when they say, okay, this solution is really top of the pops, because they came up with two critics on the model, and we say, yeah, this is centralized what you send us, and this is not. This is yeah, how to explain. One is centralized, and the other one was, you know,
not blockchain agnostic.
Yeah, was not the multi-chain, what I already informed. And we have to wait for these two experts, because they also come. One is from the Sovereign Foundation, which is very high knowledge of SSI. And we wait for them, and hopefully we are very fast getting the feedback from them. And then we can show it here first and get your critics, and yeah, disrupt the model and make the best out of it then.
Sweet, guys. We're at the hour mark for this call, so I'm happy to take last few comments here, but I do have to jump into the Project Catalyst Town Hall for responsibilities I have over there. Awesome to have everyone here.
Yeah, thank you. The amount of NFT volume here combined is insane. So
yes, thanks for having us here, Peter, and all the others. I hope you get a little bit touch in IMX, what we're doing. And yes, let's do something for the whole space. And please don't forget, it has to be multi-chain always. This is a big problem sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we will send out invitation for the third roundtable at some point, maybe talk times again, we'll see. You can look for more communications on that coming from us in the future. We have a call at 1600 UTC on Tuesdays. It's recurring every Tuesday. We're there chatting. It's separate from this call, but yeah, if you ever want to hop in and talk with any of us, that's the best place to do it. Unless you want to hit async in the NFT Guild Discord server. Thank you all for coming.
Is there time for a super quick question?
Yes.
For Tim. So we've been talking so far about the issuing. What's the stream for verifying an NFT? Like, can anybody verify the credentials? And how would that work? So if an independent party would verify that?
So I think the verification would be pointing with the token or the policy to your DID, and then really showing what data points are contained in the DID as proof that you are who you say you are, right? So it really does come back down to it's on the consumer to verify and validate. And so it's on the tool makers and the marketplaces to show the available info that is there, and then allow you to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Because at the end of the day, you know, like, some of the marketplaces have been wrong sometimes, you know, people got the verified check and then they pulled the rug, you know. So this kind of takes away that onus on the marketplace and puts it onto the projects to dox themselves and be accountable to the community, and saves a hell of a lot of headache for the marketplaces.
But like, is there any integration needs to be done with the IMX software, or it's completely independent from IMX?
It's completely independent. There will be an open SDK that you can utilize if you want to, but you don't need to. You can just do it one by one. It's just following to the asset where the verification points to the DID, and then checking everything in the DID. And the DID is signed by an issuer, so you can follow it and see who was issuing this DID, and you can decide if you're going to trust this issuer or not. So basically, you follow the trace of signatures.
Cool. And the issuer in this case would be the minting platform.
No, the issuer would be the platform that has verified the certain information about the person or the project. So it could be a subdomain at any, say, marketplace. It could be a subdomain at any, like NFT Maker, at any minting service. It could be IMX, it could be anywhere. So you can go to our later, not today, but you can go to our GitHub and just pull the complete service, install it somewhere, generate a key pair, and you're an issuer. So it's completely decentralized because you can have multiple instances of the same service.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for everybody for the space.
Yes,
Just
thanks.
one quick question before we drop off. Would it make sense to you to move these roundtables on a weekly basis, or should we keep them on a bi-weekly basis? What would be your availability, and what do you think would? Okay.
And if you want to invite anyone else to the roundtable, please feel free to do so. Either send them the link or drop us a message in the Discord and we'll send an invite.
Yep, if you drop a message in the Discord, I can add them to the calendar, invite whatever we want. Just see you next time. Peace out, everyone. Oh, and yeah, I misspoke. 1500 UTC for our regular Tuesday calls, not 1600. But details. Till next time.
Thanks.
Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.